All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this week's Tech Thursday. I'm very excited to be presenting a tool to you guys today that I've created that I believe will provide a lot of value to you, brokers, and also to your clients. Specifically, your residential clients. At this point in time, the tool that I'm going to be presenting is focused solely on residential properties. Once we feel like we've mastered the residential space, we definitely have a plan to move into the commercial space as well. I would typically ask that you hold off on questions until the end, but this is a recording, so we'll just get to it. So what I'm going to present to you today is an application that leverages machine learning to uncover the hidden value in a property. Its primary functionality is focused on determining the impact that one or many renovations can have on a specific property's value. The specificity of the app is really what provides the most value to users. You can Google what renovations have the highest return on investment, and you'll find even Zillow research articles about how by renovating your garage door, you'll generate a 94% ROI. But it's honestly inaccurate statements and generic statements like that that are part of the reason why I wanted to create a tool like this. The return on investment from a renovation is based not just on the changes that you're making to a property, but probably even more so on the current state of the property. And that's why statements like replacing your garage door will generate a 94% ROI are so bad, because it depends on not just what you're doing, but the current quality, condition, style of the previous garage doors, not to mention the size of the garage, the location of the property, and even other aspects like the siding on the property. So it's not that simple, really, is what I'm trying to say. And so I'll provide more details about how HomeBuilder calculates renovation ROI a little bit later. But first, let me explain my background and why I created this tool. So my name's Adam Eldabani. I'm the founder and CEO of HomeBuilder. I am originally from Evanston, Illinois, so I've grown up in and around Chicago, and I live in the city now. And so although I am a licensed broker, I also work full-time at IBM as part of their consulting business as a data scientist. And so although I often work with clients in the financial services sector, such as banks, insurance companies, credit unions, investment firms, it's very rare that we ever work with real estate companies or in the real estate space at all. And so given the sheer size of the real estate industry and my personal interest in real estate, I became both confused and disappointed by our lack of involvement in the industry. And I kind of made it my personal mission to really uncover the reason that IBM wasn't getting involved in the real estate space. And I'll tell you what I learned. So I learned that traditionally, real estate is one of the slowest industries to adopt new technology, especially new technology that focuses on the collection of data. And that's really because of two reasons. First of all, real estate has a tremendous level of regulation imposed on it, which makes it very difficult to collect and store data. Secondly, so much work in the real estate industry is done manually by brokers. And these brokers work for different brokerages that have different procedures. And these brokerages belong to different MLSs that don't standardize listing and information and data. And all of that basically equates to a very overwhelming amount of messy information. So in recent years, efforts to standardize and organize that data while putting responsible and comprehensive usage guidelines in place have allowed technologists and data scientists like myself to break into the real estate industry and start disrupting traditional processes and augmenting brokers' day-to-day activities, really with the goal of enabling them to gain more clients, close more deals, increase overall productivity, and maximize client satisfaction. So due to my experience and interest in both real estate and machine learning and data science, I noticed this trend and saw an opportunity to create something that could change the way that value add opportunities are found and assessed in the real estate industry moving forward. So today, I gave you a little bit of a brief introduction, but next I'll briefly touch on the problem that I aim to tackle with HomeBuilder and the way that the solutions that HomeBuilder provides for that problem. Then I'll pull up the app. We'll walk through some of its functionality. I'll talk about some of the next steps and how we're continuing to improve the app and some of our goals for it in the near future, and then we'll wrap it up. So, all right. So within the last year, gross profits from house flipping have reached the highest levels ever seen. And that has, in my opinion, given birth to a sub-industry within the real estate industry called iBuying. iBuyers, short for instant buyers, are real estate companies that leverage machine learning models and other algorithms to allow them to deliver immediate cash offers to almost any single family home. Companies like Opendoor, who just recently went public via SPAC, Zillow, OfferPad, Redfin, those are the leaders of the iBuyer industry. And really, there's a lot of other larger real estate brokerages starting to follow suit, starting to hire data scientists, build their own machine learning models and algorithms, and follow in those real estate giants' footsteps. And so iBuyers use machine learning models for a variety of reasons, really, including cash offers, instant cash offers, but also to determine what renovations will efficiently increase property values, and essentially understanding how to maximize sale price, right? So through the process of purchasing a home, implementing the renovations that will raise the value of the property the most while keeping costs down, and reselling the house as fast as possible, that's really how iBuyers operate, right? And so they're quickly gaining a large share of the housing market. I think we did some research at HomeBuilder, and we saw that if the trend of increasing market share that iBuyers have been going down and continues to 2030, they should account for approximately 15 to 17% of all residential property transactions. So that's huge. That's millions of transactions a year. So as iBuyers continue to grow and optimize, the fees that they charge will drop, and the main source of their revenue will be the difference between purchase price and the price that they then sell the house for after they've purchased it and made some renovations. And so that's going to put a very large importance on their renovation machine learning models. So as I said, each iBuyer has their own team of internal data scientists and machine learning engineers that are building these proprietary models that essentially are the backbone of these companies. At HomeBuilder, we think of ourselves as your data science and machine learning team, the machine learning team of the public, right? So we want to provide users with a suite of tools necessary for buying, selling, flipping, renovating, investing in single family homes at the highest level, just like Zillow, Opendoor, etc. We strongly believe that by giving everyone access to the same real estate technology tools, that we will be contributing to a more efficient and properly functioning housing market. So the solutions that HomeBuilder offers. The overarching goal of HomeBuilder is actually to really just to democratize the tools necessary to accurately value real estate in our current technological era. Okay, so more specifically, HomeBuilder aims to deliver a suite of solutions that will provide individual real estate professionals and brokerages with those machine learning based tools that larger real estate corporations and brokerages are already using. And so at a high level, the suite of solutions really includes, you can see, predicting the current value of properties using machine learning, calculating the potential future value of properties based on one or multiple renovations, optimizing the use of a renovation budget for renovating a house, evaluating different geographical areas for the best value add opportunities, connecting users with top-rated renovation businesses in a property's local market, providing renovation and design recommendations for a specific property, and even exporting data and analyses that were conducted within the HomeBuilder platform for further analysis or integration with other real estate tools or other applications that you may be using already. So with that being said, I'm going to switch over to show you guys the app in a second, but to summarize, the goal of HomeBuilder is really this. We want to empower the smaller brokerage, the individual real estate brokers, the individual real estate investors, flippers, shoppers, homeowners, and even residential contractors and construction companies to be able to compete with the larger real estate giants that have the ability to hire their own data scientists and machine learning engineers. We want to provide the individuals that can't hire their own data scientists with the same tools and with the same investing ability. So now I'll flip over to the app. Okay, so homebldr.ai, HomeBuilder AI. That is the, so let me back up for a second. So HomeBuilder is the company. The goal of HomeBuilder, or the solutions that HomeBuilder will provide, are a suite of products that are all based on machine learning and focused on evaluating basically the impact of renovations and other aspects to properties. HomeBuilder AI is the core application of that platform, and that's what we're going to dive into today. Okay, so to start out, the homepage of HomeBuilder AI is simply just a search box where we can type any property, and it's going to search for whatever you enter, whether that's an address, city, zip code, etc. And so I selected this property. It's a 2-bed, 1-bath in Rockford, Illinois. And I'll walk you through some of the details in a second. So what you see here is some pictures. There's the arrows. I couldn't see them because there was white blocking that. But all of the information that you see here, from the PIN number, the address, PIN number, the different photos available. We have a map location and a street view, but everything else, bed, bath, square feet, all this information we'll get to in a second, is coming directly from MRED, right? From the Chicagoland area MLS. With that being said, there are two sources that are supplying the property data to HomeBuilder AI. There is MRED. There's also the Cook County assessor. Okay, and so with that being said, those two data sets don't have the same level of granularity, level of detail, or the same features, really. So depending on the address that you search for, you may see a page populated with data from MRED, or you may see a page populated with data from the Cook County assessor. MRED provides a much more granular level of data. And so properties that we get data from MRED for will have a lot more features, a lot more of the fields populated, a more accurate valuation, more renovations to choose from, which we'll get to in a second, and so on. So I chose this property mainly because I knew it would populate from MRED. So what you see here is at the very top of the screen is a valuation that is proprietary. It was produced by a machine learning model that we made in-house. And so, okay, so one thing I want to also cover, because the difference in data between MRED and Cook County, the proprietary valuation models, the home builder valuation predictions, have different accuracy levels. Okay, so MRED provides us with a lot of data and we're able to be pretty accurate. These valuations have a median error percentage of about 8%, which is exactly what Zillow's Zestimate median error percentage is for properties in the state of Illinois. Properties that we're only getting the data for from the Cook County assessor has an error percentage of about 12%, which is okay. It's not where we want it to be, but both of these will improve over time as more properties are listed on MRED and we pull them in and grow our database. So machine learning models become more and more accurate with more and more data that they have to train on. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to point out is the current model of homebuilder AI that we're looking at today is in its beta testing version. Okay, so that means that we're only bringing on a select group of beta users to play around with the app, test certain functionality and report back certain feedback, find bugs for us, and give us basically their opinions on the level of value that it's providing for them and their potential clients so that we can continue to improve it for everyone, for you guys. With that being said, there are certain functionalities that we have turned off for the sake of keeping costs down. We're a small startup, we're trying to grow, and also for speed of the application and certain technical components. So we're not with MRED, they update MRED's data every hour, I believe. And they have a requirement that you have actually, if you're pulling data from MRED, you have to update what you're showing twice a day minimum. Okay, we're not doing that while this is in its beta version. Once we release this application to the general public, we'll be updating it very frequently throughout the day. Right now, the last update was done, I think, right at the end of 2020. Okay, so the most, if you guys have been following the housing market, which I'm sure you have, housing prices have increased in Illinois, at least, like 15% in the last year. So that increase in some of that increase in property value will not be reflected in our valuations at this point in time. Like I said, once we release to the general public, retrain the models, reproduce valuations, they will take into account things like that, like, you know, the interest rates have come down, inventory has also come down, prices have gone up. Those things will be taken into account and these valuations will be changed. Okay, so okay, let's walk through this really quick. This property, it's a 2-bed, 1-bath, just over 1,000 square feet. We have it listed, or we have it valued at just over 100 grand. It looks like it was actually sold not too long ago, really not too long ago, for just under 50 grand. Zillow's Zestimate has it around 50 grand as well. So that's interesting. You can see that it's not on the market anymore. There would be another box here that would show its listing information. You can see there's certain tax exemptions, homeowner, senior tax exemptions. If we scroll down, you can see certain aspects of the property, its age, everything you'd find on any other real estate portal. So, you know, different sizes, lot size, siding, heating, sewer, water source, certain aspects of the garage, total rooms, master bedroom information, etc., living room size. What you might have noticed is that a lot of these fields are populated with the word unknown. That, I apologize if you can hear my dog barking in the background, but that is because of a limitation of MRED, right? So that that data directly came from its most recent listing. They did not have that information populated, and that then becomes not just a limitation of HomeBuilder AI, but also a limitation of any automated valuation model using this data, right? So even Zestimate likely doesn't have this information because the MLS is the golden source of truth for this data. And if they don't have it, it's likely not going to be found anywhere else. Okay, so as we scroll down, certain features about the house continue. Then we get down here to neighborhood and comp info. So you find certain aspects of the local neighborhood. So the census tract that it belongs to, the county, the median age of the population in that neighborhood, other certain aspects, you know, demographic information, economic housing, certain school information, and then you find a few different comparison properties here. All of them are 2-bed, 1-bath, near 1,000 square feet, very similar price points. And as we scroll even further down, this is one feature that is currently being populated by machine learning, actually. So there's a certain realm of machine learning called machine learning explainability. And what that allows you to do, or anyone to do, is actually determine what is affecting a single observation's prediction, right? What's pushing that prediction higher and what's pushing that prediction lower. So what we did here is we extracted the top 3 things bringing the value of this property higher and the top 3 things bringing the value of the property lower. So let's look at it. So for this property, the number one thing bringing this property's value up is the master bedroom size. So if we scroll back up here, we can see the master bedroom size is actually 17 by 10, which is relatively large, but especially for 1,000 square foot house, that is a very large master bedroom. So that's the number one thing in bringing this property's value up. Secondly, this property was said to have been rebuilt. That's a flag in the data. I'm not sure exactly if we can tell by looking at the pictures, but there's certain aspects of this house that were rebuilt, and that causes our model to think that this property is should be valued at a higher value because of that. Thirdly, this property is in a good elementary school district. Okay. What's bringing the value of this property down? Number of bathrooms. Well, that makes sense. It's a 1-bed, 1-bath property. The zip code. So anytime you'll see in this kind of display here for certain properties that you'll see like a zip code, town, county, parish, things like that listed here. That's basically signifying that the general area that's shown has a lower average median sale price compared to other neighborhoods nearby, or just within the data that we have. Okay, so this zip code doesn't particularly have a high average sale price. And then the third thing bringing this down is the living area size, which makes sense because it's just 1,000 square foot house. It's not that big. Okay, the next couple of things down here. This section of the application allows for a user to enter a renovation budget, and essentially the app will determine the best use of that budget in terms of which renovations to use that budget on, and that will generate the maximum return on investment. We'll get to that in a second. The final thing down here is the single renovation investment potential. Okay, so this is really just a feature that we implemented as a way to generate curiosity about this app and this property. And what it does is basically looks through the set of ROI positive renovations for this property and randomly selects one and displays it here so that you can see, okay, well, for this property, we can raise the value with one single renovation. It's for single renovations. We can raise the property just over 9K with over almost a 300% ROI. So that means we're not spending very much to raise the value of this property 9K. So we can click on this and we can see exactly what it is. So after clicking on this button or the renovation optimization button on the previous page, you would typically be shown a pop-up that would be directing you to gain premium access before you can, or in order to really proceed past the previous page. Unless a user has premium access, they'll only get to search for properties and see their features like a typical real estate portal. But anything further, and you need premium access. So at this point in time, all beta users will have premium access. No need to worry about that. Okay, so when you click on single renovation investment potential, you're shown the value add and ROI for a renovation that was randomly selected from the set of ROI positive renovations. In this case, the renovation that was selected was the installation of a cedar deck. Okay, and so you can see the current value of the property. You can see the new value of the property post renovation, the cost of the renovation, the value add, and the ROI. And so the cost of the renovation is just almost $2,400. That looks pretty cheap to me. So I'm guessing it's for a smaller deck installation. And I'll explain why the size, why a smaller deck was selected in the first place. And so if we scroll down, we can go to deck here. You can see no deck currently exists. And then you can see the breakdown of costs by materials and labor. And the size of the deck that was selected was 50 square feet, which is obviously pretty small. But because the deck is small and the cost is low, the ROI was higher. Okay, and so that's why when looking through all of the ROI positive renovations, this one was selected because of its high return on investment. If we wanted to add a deck of a larger size, the cost would be higher. The value add might not be that much higher, right? Just the presence of a deck in general is what's going to generate the most ROI, not the extra 10 square feet of the deck, if that makes sense. And so that's how that was selected. So, okay, so let me back up slightly. The page that we're on right now is the valuation predictor tool. And so let me scroll down and restore the default values for this property. Okay, so now you can see everything was wiped. And so the valuation predictor is the core of the HomeBuilder AI application and can almost be used like a renovation calculator. Okay, but is also used for other features of the application, including the optimization of a renovation budget, and also when using the map view, which we'll get to a little bit later. And that the map view allows you to basically analyze many properties at once, but we'll get to that later. And so the valuation predictor allows, it allows a user to select any renovation from our database of renovations and see how much it costs and essentially how it would affect the value of the property. Okay, so we can select a renovation. We can see how it would change the value of the property, what the value add would be, what the post renovation valuation would be and what the ROI for that renovation would be. So let's see. So this property, if we remember, it only has one bathroom. So let's add a bathroom to this property. So let's see. Let me walk you through all the different aspects of choosing a renovation. So there's 5 aspects really. You want to select the room type. Okay, so we have bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, dining room, living room, basement, etc. That you can select which part of the house you want to renovate. So we're going to select bathroom. Next is room detail. Okay, so certain room types will have certain variations or different aspects of that room type. So bathroom, we could renovate the master bedroom bath, we could renovate the basement bath, or other normal bathrooms in the house, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to add addition a full bath to this property. Cost level. This is essentially for users to choose the method of renovation implementation. Okay, so typically you would choose professional service, right? Which means that you're paying a contractor, construction business to come in, do the work. They're going to charge you for labor, they're going to charge you for materials, and there's going to be an upcharge for them to make money on it. You could also choose at cost, which is materials, labor, but no upcharge, and then no markup. And then there's DIY, which means that you're going to do it yourself. So if you wanted to renovate, you wanted to put up some drywall and some studs and install a bathroom in the corner of your house by yourself, the cost is going to be a lot cheaper because it's really just materials unless you're going to be paying yourself. So we're going to select professional service, and let's just say a 30 square foot bathroom. Nothing, the house is only 1,000 square feet. We don't want to take up too much space. We'll go 40. And you can search for renovations. Here you'll find the list of renovations that we have in our database related to what you entered. So let's see, we're looking for an installation of a bathroom. We see that we can do that here, professional service. We have economy, average, and premium qualities. We'll just go with average for now. Nothing too fancy, but nothing too cheap. If we scroll down, you can see the renovation was added to this queue here. And if we scroll all the way down, we can calculate the new value of the property. Okay. And so now you can see the current value, the new value of the property. It went up by just over 4K. The cost of installing that bathroom was 14K. Okay, so the ROI is actually negative. So this is something that no homeowner wants to hear. Okay, but most renovations will not be ROI positive. While doing research for kind of prior to building this app, I came across that information from someone that was actually in charge of renovations at Opendoor. And he told me that. I found it hard to believe, but then after looking through the data, looking through renovation costs and how much they affect the values of properties, I am now a believer that most renovations will not be ROI positive, they'll be ROI negative. And with that being said, they'll still raise the value of the house, but the cost, especially if you're paying someone to come in and implement those renovations, will oftentimes outweigh the increase in value to the property. So with that being said, you can continue to play around. You can select multiple renovations from here. Just keep adding them on, keep clicking calculate new valuation and see how this changes. For the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead, restore default values here and show you guys the renovation budget optimization. Okay, so this feature allows a user to enter the budget that they are willing to spend on renovating this property, and the app will return the best use of the budget in terms of maximizing return on investment. So let's start by entering 5,000 here and just see what happens. Okay, so what was shown is actually the deck renovation from earlier is the best use of that 5,000. you can see the renovation only costs about $2,400. But that means that there is no other renovation that we have in our database that would generate a higher ROI with a $5,000 budget. Let's increase the budget to 20,000. And it took a little bit longer just because it was searching through more renovations, because with the $20,000 budget, there's more to consider. So, okay, so now we see that the ROI increased from about I think it was 283% to 316%. The deck installation is still in the mix here, but the app also recommends the addition of another garage spot. So this property, okay, currently has 1.5 spaces as it is. And so I think what the app is really getting at here is that by having a minimum two car garage, having a minimum 2-car garage is likely correlated with a significant increase in property value in this local market. Okay. So moving on, let's say we're happy with these 2 renovations. We've decided we want to implement these to this house. We're going to scroll down here and we're going to say continue with renovation plan. Now we're taken to a screen that basically displays the information we just saw, kind of summarizes it here, the different renovations, features of the house that we're affecting, the cost of the renovations, and the total costs. And we can decide whether we want to go back and rebuild the renovation plan or strategy, or we can submit the renovations. That's what we're going to do here. Okay, so now what we're seeing here is the user has shown a couple different things. So based on the renovation or renovations that they selected, a Yelp API is pinged in the background to search for the top rated businesses in this property's local market that will provide the services necessary for these renovations. Okay, so in this example, we chose a deck renovation and a garage renovation. So we get a list of local businesses for each that basically listed in their Yelp profile that they perform that type of work. So it's kind of interesting that we see here for a deck installation, the number 1 business is JC's Paintworks, right? So I'm guessing that there's something in their profile that says they also work on decks, they do deck repairs, something along those lines. So, and then if we scroll down to garage renovations, you have the same type of table. And so you can see the business name, Yelp rating, the address, and then actually a hyperlink to their Yelp page. And so you can see JC's Paintworks. Let's see if I have something about decks in my hand. So about the business, deck maintenance, and also deck resealing and painting. So I don't think that the Yelp API is truly optimized for providing the best search results, but that's something that probably needs to be worked on their end, but also our end. We can probably optimize that a little bit better as well. Okay, so the other thing that we can see on this page, and it still needs a little bit of work, to be honest. Let's see if I can zoom in on this, is the renovation report. And so the renovation report shows how the property can achieve the selected ROI or a selected ROI by implementing the necessary or the corresponding renovations. This feature is something that I envisioned being used as marketing materials for brokers and potentially renovation businesses and contractors as well. So if you think about a listing broker, if they're at a showing and they are able to hand out this material that shows essentially quantitative proof that the property that they're listing, that they're advertising, has the potential for a value add opportunity, or actually a return on investment, that makes the property much more marketable and more likely to sell, and could actually raise the value that the property sells for. Renovation businesses like contractors and residential construction companies, like roofers per se, can create these materials for individual properties in the market that they operate in an effort to essentially advertise the returns that can be achieved by soliciting their services, right? So if a roofer knocks on your door or slips a flyer under your door that says, look, we'll replace your roof with new slate shingles for this amount, and that will raise the value of your property by 4 times that amount, I think that you'd probably be more likely to strike a deal. Okay, so the next feature that I want to show you, really the final functionality in HomeBuilder AI that I want to demonstrate, is the map view. Okay, and so due to some increased activity from beta users, the app is loading somewhat slow. If we were to zoom in, the properties load a little bit slower. So that's another thing that we're working on. I have something pulled up here. So what you can see here is a subset of houses that we have data for in Evanston. Not all are shown due to server limitations at this point in time. Like I said, the activity on the application has been increasing and somewhat slowing down the application and the performance. So upgrading the server is something that we're going to do in the very near future. But the goal of the map view is essentially to allow users to perform the calculations that we did in the valuation predictor at scale. Okay, so to many properties at once. And so to demonstrate the significance, I guess, of the map view, I want you to picture a scenario where a buyer agent has a client that's interested in purchasing a value add opportunity in Evanston. Their client's willing to spend, let's say, $400K maximum, but is willing to sink $20K into the property to raise the value. And they want to know what's the best property for them to purchase to do that. The agent, the buyer agent, can use the map view to find and actually export the list of properties that meet his requirements and can provide quantitative data showing the ROIs that can be achieved with his renovation budget, and also what those renovations are. So let me show you. We can, okay, so we're already zoomed into Evanston here. You can see Evanston Township High School. This is an area of Evanston where you'd be more likely to find properties in his price point. What we can do here is go to filters. We can filter for a 400,000 maximum valuation. Then what we can do is actually enter our renovation budget here, 20,000, hit enter. And all of these properties on the map will basically go through the optimization process and will then be highlighted in a certain color based on the ROI, the maximum ROI that can be achieved, and that ROI will be shown to the right over here. So if you look at the map, properties shown in green achieve an ROI of over 100%. Properties shown in yellow, which I'm not sure what happened to the rest of the properties. I think it's the server's overloaded and they're still loading. But properties from 0 to 100% ROI will be shown in yellow. Anything in the negatives will be shown in red. Okay, and so what we can do from here is basically look at the properties, see which ones might be interesting to us or might be interesting to our clients, and actually then go and click on a property, which will take us directly to that property specific page. Okay. But what we can also do is actually export this data to CSV or Excel. And I'll pull it up here. Sorry, it showed up on my other monitor. Okay, and so now we have this data exported to Excel that we can use to send to our clients, send to another tool, or do our own analysis with it. So you have the different pins for the properties, addresses, current values, the budget that we selected, the optimized valuations, ROIs, and then certain aspects of the house so that the client knows exactly what the house is like without having to look it up. Okay, so that's one aspect of the map view. A second thing that I think is going back to how a contractor construction company could use this. So we're going to go here, we're going to clear the filters. Let's say the roofing company that I spoke about earlier doesn't want to individually enter every single property address into the valuation predictor to get to that potential ROI that they could achieve, and then make that report and then print it out individually. They want to just search the whole neighborhood that or the whole local market that they operate in to see which properties will have the or could generate the highest return on investment from their services. What you can do then is actually go here, select, let's do like a deck edition, change it up a little bit. You can select the deck edition, let's say 100 square feet on average, and we're going to say at a professional cost. Okay, now every house on the map has gone through an optimization with those conditions. So what's the highest ROI that all of these properties can achieve from a deck edition of 100 square feet at a professional service cost level? Okay, and you can then go through and you can see certain properties are have a very high ROI. You can click on them, or again, you can export them to Excel. And now that decking company has a spreadsheet of properties that they know would generate high returns from their services, and they can go produce targeted marketing materials for them, either in HomeBuilder AI or through their own proprietary marketing. Okay, so that's the map view. I guess let me go back to, so let me actually just talk about one more potential use case that I think HomeBuilder AI could play into. So another use case I'll touch on quickly is where a broker has a client that's moving from out of state, and the market is so hot that they don't have the option of flying or driving in to see a house because by that time it'll be under contract already. So the client essentially has to be prepared to purchase a house without ever seeing it in person, which is naturally very nerve-wracking and uncomfortable. So in order to get comfortable with the idea of placing an offer without ever seeing the house in person, and assessing how they would renovate it to their liking and how they what the potential maximum value could be, they can use HomeBuilder AI to evaluate the impact of any set of renovations or single renovation to the property, see how it affects the value of the house, get estimates for the cost of those renovations. Okay, so that would allow for home buyers who are moving cross country to become more comfortable with buying houses remotely and just increase the overall kind of efficiency and comfortability of that process of buying a house remotely. This actually happens to me recently. So I just purchased a house in Austin, Texas with my girlfriend. And the market was so crazy that I still haven't seen the house in person. Okay, so the average days on market for houses in our price range and the location that we wanted, I think was or is like between 4 and 5 days, which is insane. So that's not enough time for us to fly down to Austin to see a house, to make an offer. We had to be prepared to make offers remotely. That's what we did. And it worked out for us, luckily. But Zillow, and Opendoor and other companies, they have the goal of making the home buying process completely online. And in order for that mission to succeed, there is a huge need for tools that would allow home shoppers to be able to understand all aspects of a house without ever going to see it in person. Zillow recently purchased Showing Time, which allows for virtual tours of houses, right? They know this. They know that there's a need for these tools. And I believe that HomeBuilder AI could fit into that category of tools that help increase the level of remote home buying. Okay, so let me flip back here. We went through the app overview. Next steps. Okay, so we're currently onboarding, like I said, a limited number of beta users to gain access to HomeBuilder AI, play around with the app, see the level of value that it provides for them as a broker or a real estate professional of any kind, and see if the level of value it provides maybe potentially to their clients, and then provide feedback to us to help us improve the app. So I would love for any nice